welcome to another episode. In today's episode, I am going to teach you how to add comments into your JavaScript code. But before we get started, if you're new to my channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. And if you want to get notified every time that I upload a new video, make sure to hit that ring bell. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so to get started in today's episode, I want you all to open the w3schools.com website because we are going to be using that for today. We are also going to jump into the JavaScript section, and in tutorials, you're going to go to where it says JS comments. I am there already, so I'll leave that in there. Now, in addition to this, I have opened the same index.html website that we code in our first chapter, and I have Visual Studio Code here open as well. I have the index.html file, and I have the .js file, which is for JavaScript. So we are about to know a little bit more about comments today. So JavaScript comments. In first place, I want to explain what a comment is. I am assuming that you already have previous knowledge of HTML and CSS to start learning JavaScript. So comments, they act the same way they do in HTML and also in CSS. Comments are used in JavaScript to remind you of something in your code, or sometimes you will use them to explain a certain portion of your code, especially in JavaScript. When you're building, let's say, video game or huge website with a lot of interaction, you might want to add comments into your same code to know specifically what you're working on. And if you have seen the last chapter I did for CSS, I added a whole bunch of comments there for our CSS code to know exactly which part of the website I was coding at that time. So it's the same thing for JavaScript. That's the main reason that we use comments in here. Now, to add a comment in JavaScript is very simple. I will show you the two main ways that you can go ahead and actually add a comment into your JavaScript code. So let's read here a little bit in W3 Schools. As I explained already, JavaScript comments can be used to explain JavaScript code and make it more readable. And they can also be used to prevent execution when testing alternative code. So this is definitely something that it's important because you don't want to add, let's say, a comment and have your JavaScript code being read in a certain way that it'll execute that you type in. So for that, the first way that you can add a comment is using single line. Now, single line is simply, here's the syntax. With single line comments, the only thing that you need to do is add 2 forward slash in any portion of your code, and it'll be added perfectly fine in there. And JavaScript is not going to read it as a portion of a JavaScript code, so meaning that this will not be executed. So let me show you an example. You see here, it says changing heading. So we already have a code here that we wrote, which is just a function. And what I want to do, let's say in this portion of my function, I'm going to add 2 forward slash to tell my code this is a comment, and I'm going to tell them, okay, so this is the function to get the element by the ID of demo. Simple as that. This is one line of comment. So as you can see, now the comment is being highlighted in green, meaning that, you know, this comment is not going to execute. So if I save it and I go back to my code and I refresh it, once I click the try it button, it doesn't do anything. Why? Because we are not doing anything with a comment. A comment is just simply telling to our text, this portion of my code, I don't want it to be executed. This is just a comment so that I can remember that this is a function to get the element by ID of demo. Now, this is a first way that you can add a comment. Now, the second way that you can add a comment in JavaScript will be by using the multi-line comments. Now, for this, you will use the following syntax. You're going to start with a forward slash and an asterisk, and then you're going to end it with an asterisk and a forward slash. Now, this will be to add multiple lines of comments, because on this first section, as you can see, if I start typing in, if I hit enter and I start typing in something like document, you see how in first place the colors changes because now this is not being read as a comment, it's being read as a portion of the code or the function that I am trying to execute. So if I want to add multiple lines of comments, you're going to use the following syntax, okay? So let's apply this right now. We're going to add a forward slash and an asterisk, and then I am going to type in, this is a comment with multiple lines, and I'm going to hit enter just so you can see the difference. Now you notice this is a multiple line. I can even add enter and even keep on typing more comments. Now, if I haven't closed my my syntax, you see how the portion of the function is being read now as a comment as well. That's because you have to make sure that when you're using the multiple line syntax for your comment, you need to make sure you close it so that only the portions or the lines that you want them to be a comment will actually be inside of those and are not going to ruin your code. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and type in an asterisk and forward slash, and boom, just like that, I just finished this section. So as you can see, this portion is now a comment. This is what we call a multi-line comment. And this is not touching the function anymore that we wrote down in here. Now, it can not only be added here. I mean, if you want, you can add this comment on top. You can add it at the bottom. I mean, you can add them whatever you want. It's up to you at the end. Where do you want to add a comment in your code to probably remind you of something or explain something to somebody else if you are sharing this code or working, you know, with a colleague or something, okay? So that's the second way that you can add a comment into your JavaScript code. So that'll be for today's episode, everybody. I hope that you liked it. I know this was a very short tutorial. I try to make it as short as possible, and I will try to make the rest of my tutorials here in JavaScript as well very short so that you guys can, you know, go through them easily and faster. However, there will be some episodes that will require me to talk a little bit more. So I'll do my best just to keep all explanations as simple as possible so that you can go ahead and move on with JavaScript and, you know, actually learn, okay? So if you like my video, don't forget, it'll be very helpful for me if you give me a thumbs up. And as well, if you're new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe to it. I will really appreciate it. And remember that you can always ask Lixi. So bye everybody, and see you again in the next episode.